In the bright, polished halls of a luxury mall, a sudden commotion drew every eye. A 14-year-old black girl stood trembling as a police officer shoved her backward, accusing her of lying about her own mother. Bystanders didn't step forward, they simply lifted their phones, recording her fear as if it were a spectacle. The officer's tone grew sharper and colder, echoing through the marble corridors while the girl tried desperately to make him understand. She had no idea that within a minute the ceiling would tremble, a helicopter would descend, and the woman stepping out would shatter every assumption in the room. Watch until the end. Amara Lewis was the kind of girl who blended quietly into the world, thoughtful, calm, and deeply sensitive. She loved soft colors, drawing in her sketchbook, and reading while waiting for her mother to return from long, classified missions. Her mother, Major Talia Lewis, worked in highly restricted military operations, a life filled with demanding duty and limited explanations. That afternoon, Amara waited at the mall after being dropped off early from a school event. She sat near the jewelry stores, scrolling through her phone and occasionally scanning the entrance, expecting her mother to arrive at any moment. Slowly, people began to stare. Their curiosity shifted into suspicion, and their suspicion into whispered assumptions. To them, she looked out of place. To them, she looked like trouble. A woman leaving a jewelry shop noticed her first. Amara was simply waiting, but the woman interpreted her presence differently. She quietly signaled to her husband, and within moments they were contacting the police. Amara remained unaware of the tightening atmosphere until a uniformed officer strode toward her. With an air of unearned authority, he confronted her immediately, questioning her presence and doubting every explanation she attempted to give. When she tried to describe her mother's classified job, he interpreted her hesitation as dishonesty. Her lack of identification, her uncertainty about her mother's exact location, and her inability to provide the details he demanded all of it became fuel for his assumptions. People began gathering not to help, but to film. Their whispers rippled through the crowd, each word heavy with judgment. Some suspected she had run away. Others assumed she was stealing. Many questioned why she was alone. Every whispered accusation cut into her like a blade. The officer grew more aggressive. When Amara tried to regain her phone to call her mother, he snatched it away and tightened his grip on her arm. His frustration escalated to physical force, and he shoved her hard enough to draw gasps from the onlookers. She trembled, barely managing to keep her balance, her heart hammering in her chest. Then the atmosphere shifted. A thunderous vibration filled the air. The ceiling panels quivered. People lifted their eyes toward the entrance in confusion and fear as the sound of rotating helicopter blades shook the space. A military helicopter descended into the mall's parking lot, an aircraft, far too powerful and purposeful for a mall. Environments. Silence swept through the crowd. The helicopter's door opened with a metallic snap, and a black woman stepped out dressed in full tactical combat gear. Her vest, gloves, and insignias reflected a level of authority far beyond that of the officer who had manhandled the girl. Her posture was sharp and disciplined, every step measured and commanding. Whispers spread rapidly through the crowd as people tried to understand who she was and why she had arrived. But the woman had only one focus. She walked with unwavering determination toward the mall entrance toward Amara. The officer still held Amara's arm, but as he saw the woman approaching, his confidence drained. His grip loosened, his posture stiffened with fear, and shame washed over his face as realization sank in. Major Talia Lewis reached her daughter. She wrapped Amara in a firm, grounding embrace that immediately calmed the trembling in the girl's body. The contrast between the officer's aggression and the mother's protective stillness struck the crowd deeply. The officer attempted to justify himself, But his excuses melted away under the weight of what everyone had witnessed. Talia didn't argue. She didn't yell. She didn't need to. Her credentials, high-level military identification, spoke louder than any words ever could. Phones slowly lowered. Some people looked away, guilt visible in their expressions. Others exchanged uncomfortable glances as they realized how quickly they had judged a child based solely on her appearance. Amara had never been suspicious, never dishonest. She had simply been waiting for her mother, yet she was treated like a threat, a liar, and a criminal. As the helicopter's blades began spinning once again, preparing for departure, the crowd was left with a question heavier than the roar of the aircraft. How many more children must endure this before society learns to see them as human first? Where are you watching from, country and city? Take care.